Want to know how to get the same cell coverage for up to half the cost? Well, instead of spending a fortune building and maintaining their own cell phone towers, Consumer Cellular just pays to use the same towers as the largest carriers and passes the savings on to you. Pretty smart, huh? Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that debating your accessories.
Could use some new riding gloves. Guess I'll go with black leather again. Just seems so basic. Wait, what if I did white leather? People be like, hey, this guy's different. Or they might be like, hey, this guy looks like a butler. Yeah, okay, black leather it is.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, accounting and auditing firm PwC cautions government against celebrating recovery of the economy, saying there's still a long way to go. Also, government cautioned against relying on short-term measures to address instability of the city, but banks optimistic about the local currency's performance in the coming weeks despite current pressures and delays in disbursing second tranche of IMF funds. Plus, a new research shows total losses incurred by banks due to domestic debt exchange program reduced significantly to about 7.3 billion cedis. Details coming up. My name is Darryl Carl. Thanks for joining us. Hello to our friends listening on KTU Radio in Koforidua. First up, accounting and auditing firm PwC is cautioning the government against celebrating the recovery of the economy. In its overall perspective of the 2024 budget, it said there is still quite some distance from the finish line. Here's more in this report.
According to PwC, the next lap could be the hardest section yet to run. However, it said the 2024 budget contains some socio-economic development programs which, if implemented properly, could deliver desired results. It expressed worry about the 2024 election spending, saying there are significant threats to disciplined budgetary execution that the government would have to face off to stay on track to achieve the broad medium-term target of recovery, stability, and growth. It therefore advised the government to adopt sound project selection and implementation approaches that will lead to producing commercial scale model that would serve as effective anchors for driving the sector-wide transformation envisaged for the priority sector listed in the medium-term growth strategy. Specifically, it urged the government to avoid the temptation to be overly generous in its application of social protection and poverty reduction principles.
That was a Business Desk report. Economist Dr. Priscilla Chimesi-Bafo is impressing on government the need to exhibit fiscal discipline in 2024 in order to achieve its macroeconomic targets. According to her, policies like the Planting for Food and Jobs program, if well implemented, could be a game changer to drive down inflation. She also wants other policies to be well implemented to achieve their intended purpose. She spoke to some journalists at the KPMG UNDP organized 2024 Post-Budget Forum.
The 15% is a moderate target, although I must say that it is achievable, but it has to be achieved with a lot of discipline, particularly discipline on the fiscal side, in the sense that the gains we are seeing as a result of some of the constraints that have been put in place. And given that 2024 is an election year, it is something that we are watching the space to see whether the target is something that would be achieved. How would this target be achieved? I think that when you go into the determinants of inflation, food is one of the key determinants. And so, for instance, if the Planting for Food and Jobs program, the phase 2, is taken off with emphasis on placing value addition, then essentially I believe that it should not be an unattainable target.
Economist Dr. Priscilla Chumesi-Bafo. Now, the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications says it expected some tax reliefs for manufacturers of mobile devices in the 2024 budget presented by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. According to his chief executive, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, the industry needs this cushioning considering the fact that the telecoms industry is contributing heavily towards revenue generation through the use of mobile services. He spoke at the launch of the 2022 Mobile Industry Transparency Initiative.
One of the challenges I had with the current budget was that when all of these tax holidays were being given, our thought was that considering the fact that telecommunication is foundational to ensuring real growth and getting us out of the financial crisis, we would have offered also some tax holidays to manufacturers of devices, because we have the challenge we have is a lot of our people are still using feature phones. A lot of our people are using basic phones. And it would have been great for us to go the route that Rwanda has gone. They, for example, got some support from Netflix, and they are working with one of the operators there to give smartphones out to the subscribers for free. It is really critical that we try and support the industry.
The telecom industry in 2022 contributed 1.27 billion cedis in corporate income tax, whilst 482.8 million cedis was paid as electronic transfer levy. Now, government has cautioned against relying on short-term measures to address the instability of the cedi against major foreign currencies. According to economist Dr. Patrick Esuming, the government must adopt better strategies, including improving the fiscal economy to reduce pressure on the cedi. In the past, the government borrowed heavily from the international capital market to shore up the value of the cedi. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Esuming urged the government to diversify the country's export base as well as reassess investment laws to protect the cedi.
In the long term, everybody knows what we have to do. We have to broaden our export base, and we have to do more import substitution. We have to reduce our dependence on foreign financing. When foreigners are bringing the money, we are happy and we are singing. When it's time for them to take the money out, we see that the currency is wobbling. So I think over the long term, we have to diversify our export base. We have to do more domestic production and cut our imports, and then reduce our dependence on foreign money.
You are listening to the Joy Business Report. Still on the cedi, commercial banks are optimistic about the local currency's performance in the coming weeks despite the current challenges. The local currency has recently come under some pressure, and there fears the revised date by the International Monetary Fund for the disbursement of the second tranche of program funds could hurt the local currency. The inflows from the Cocoa syndicated loan have also delayed. John Ewa is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks.
There's volatility. It's a challenge. You want to be able to plan, but we've seen relative stability, and we must say that in the last couple of months, the cedi has performed creditably well. I mean, it's not fantastic, but we've seen some stability, which is important. It's been around a certain range for quite a while, and the last quarter, we always see this. We expect that outlook to be sustained, and whatever blip that we have seen is not unusual. It is sometimes things that we observe, in the last quarter because of the seasonal effect of heightened importation and the like. That could also exert some pressure on the currency, but overall, the currency has performed quite well.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa. Now, a new study conducted by banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etienne and two other researchers has revealed that the losses by banks as a result of the domestic debt exchange program were far lower than earlier anticipated. According to the report, the banks made losses of 7.3 billion cedis compared to the earlier 41 billion cedis. This is due to a reduction in the exchange rate losses. Here's lead researcher for this study, Dr. Richmond Etienne.
If you use the same discount rate as was used for the original calculations, the losses has really reduced significantly, because the longer the period, the greater the losses are to be. Fortunately, having reduced it to 13.8 to 8.3, it has brought in the losses to a reasonable level. And don't forget, having reduced that level has been shifted to Bank of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana losses have now risen to that level. So it's some sort of compensatory factor that the minister did.
You heard banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuaini. In other news, the European Union, Serath Development Organization and Tree Crop Center have completed and inaugurated a transformative coconut waste hub at Danfa here in Accra. The environmentally driven initiative aims to address the challenges of coconut waste management whilst creating sustainable socio-economic opportunities for local communities. Head of Cooperation at the EU in Ghana, Massimo Mina, explained that the EU is dedicated to working together with local partners.
This is a very important project, even though the amount of funding is only a little percentage of our overall allocation for Ghana, but it is part of our partnership. In this particular case, we're working with the local authorities and with the civil society organization to team up together to implement the green transition. So the green transition is really at the core of the European Union policy, it's part of the Green Deal, and on one end it's about protecting the environment and ensuring more sustainable practices.
The country director for Serath Development Organization, Lucille Abrokwa, emphasized the Coconut Waste Hub is an avenue to create jobs.
And you know, coconut waste it takes up a lot of space in the landfills, and due to its high lignin content, it's very difficult to decompose. So because of that, the project seeks to achieve green circular economy and provide job opportunities for the people in the Lankwantana Madina municipality as well as its environment.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that debating your accessories.
Could use some new riding gloves. Guess I'll go with black leather again. Just seems so basic. Wait, what if I did white leather? People be like, hey, this guy's different. Or they might be like, hey, this guy looks like a butler. Yeah, okay. Black leather it is.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.